South China Morning Post, 6 April 2024, China warns against challenges to its sovereignty in the Indo-Pacific as the US and China resume their military safety talks. China is experiencing repercussions for its aggressive and imperialist actions after making illegitimate claims across the globe. China's defense ministry issued a warning on Saturday, stating that while the recent discussions between Chinese and US military officials this week were candid and constructive, Beijing will nevertheless react to challenges to its sovereignty in the Indo-Pacific region. Under the auspices of the US-China Military Maritime Consultative Agreement, MMCA, working group, officials from the People's Liberation Army and the US Indo-Pacific Command, Pacific Fleet, and Pacific Air Forces convened in Hawaii on Wednesday and Thursday for the first round of talks in over 2 years. The ministry stated that the conference aimed to promote the healthy, stable, and sustainable development of military relations between the two countries. It stated that both sides had candid and constructive exchanges on the current maritime and air security situation between China and the United States based on equality and mutual respect. According to the US Indo-Pacific Command, the two delegations talked about safety-related events that had happened in the previous few years and how the two countries could prevent unintentional conflicts in the future. The Pentagon published a video in October that purportedly showed Chinese fighter jets throwing flares and chaff while flying quickly toward US aircraft. Since the last MMCA meeting in 2021, officials have assessed how the Code for Unplanned Encounters at Sea has been implemented. The working group's yearly meetings were suspended in 2022 following U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taiwan. Beijing views Taiwan as a part of China, which it may use force to reunite with. Most nations, including the U.S., do not recognize Taiwan as a sovereign state. Yet, Washington is dedicated to arming Taiwan and is against any attempt to annex the self-governing island through force. Things improved when U.S. President Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi Jinping decided to restart military talks in November last year. China expressed its commitment to advancing regional peace, stability, and prosperity during this week's meetings in Honolulu. However, the Chinese ministry said it also raised issues with security and sovereignty. Under the guise of freedom of navigation and overflight, the Chinese delegation pointed out that the safety of ships and aircraft is inseparable from national security, and China firmly opposes any actions that jeopardize China's sovereignty and security. The ministry declared that, the PLA, will continue to respond to any dangerous and provocative actions by the law and regulations to protect its marine interests. Colonel Ian Francis of the Indo-Pacific Command, who leads the U.S. delegation, issued the warning after declaring that the U.S. will carry out operations wherever international law allows. Francis explained that the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command's primary means of directly discussing air and maritime operational safety with the PLA is through the MMCA working group. He stated that we are happy that the PLA keeps its word to the MMCA working group and anticipate more fruitful conversations to protect our military operators' safety in the area. In the meantime, a joint statement released on Saturday by the defense secretaries of the U.S., Japan, Australia, and the Philippines announced that the countries would undertake their first-ever full-scale combined naval drill in the South China Sea. To demonstrate a collective commitment to strengthen regional and international cooperation in support of a free and open Indo-Pacific, they stated, the maritime cooperative activity would take place on Sunday.